Hey there, bestie. I'm Lori Emi, your What to Read Next podcast host. Join me as we dive into exciting new reads that'll have you reaching for your TBR pile in no time. From group and mysteries to spicy romances, we'll explore it all and help you find your next favorite book. So grab a cup of tea, cozy it up, and let's discover some amazing reads together. Hi, Stacey. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
So happy to have you here. Talk a little bit about yourself.
I am a romance author. I've been writing since 2011, I think. I also have a husband and 4 teenagers.
Oh my gosh, and you're busy. And oh my God.
Yeah. I have tried to garden this year. It has not been going so well. So we'll learn more, I think, in the winter and start again next year.
Yeah, how do you manage to do it all? Like writing, shower,
I don't do that.
like the whole having children, like now they're teenagers, so they're probably their needs are different, but they're still baby.
Yeah. It's crazy because when I started writing my very first book, my kids were 1, 3, 5, and 7. And now they're 13, 15, 17, and 19. And so, but when they were younger, it was almost easier to write when they were home because they entertained themselves and we just stayed home. Like we didn't do a lot. We lived in Minnesota then. And so the winters were long and we were stuck inside a lot, or I could take them to the library and they could run and play there while I wrote a little bit. And now that they're older, it's like, oh, we're going. And I'm like, it's harder now than I don't know. I think I expected it to get easier and it's kind of different. So
No, because
we figure it out.
You probably have to drive people around. Like you're an Uber driver.
Right.
And that's
right. And I'm lucky that, I mean, my oldest 2 are driving, so they, they can come and go as they please, but it's still the constant coming and going and who's where, where's so-and-so going today and who needs the car and this. And our daughter will be turning 16 in September. So we'll add a 3rd driver with fewer cars. So it'll add a whole new, traumatic thing that we have to work through, but it's fine. I think you just get used to what you have and then you just figure out how to live with it,
So what's like to start writing to level alone? Because it's a whole different time that I know the industry was young or very young industry. Yes, we did have the piece of 50 Shades of Grey, but there was a lot of pieces that were really young and the audience was very different. We didn't have we didn't have like even Instagram, like we didn't have like this influencer culture that was selling books. You were actually going to bloggers and like you maybe Facebook.
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it because I've always been a huge reader and I've always wanted to write. But I wrote my first book just, Kindles were just coming out and I had just gotten one and started falling down this rabbit hole of all of these 99-cent free books, that kind of thing, because they were all so cheap back then too, especially, indie books. And I'd obviously never heard of that either. And so it was fall. We were, like I said, we were in Minnesota. And I just thought, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to write this book for me and just to be able to say that I wrote a book. Like that was really my intention behind it. And I finished it in sometime over the winter and hated it. But I was like, you know what? I did it. I don't we're done with this. Like that was fun and that was stressful and whatever, we're done. And so I just put it in a drawer. And about 3 weeks later, I was like, nope, absolutely not. Because if you're going to do something, then I'm at least going to be happy with it. And so I got it back out, rewrote like the entire middle third of it to the last half. I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And then when spring came, I was finally like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just see what happens. And, we had our family life was very different back then. My husband worked. I stayed home with the kids, but we were not, I was terrified to spend any money investing in a silly dream at that point when we didn't have the money to invest in it. And like our budget was so tight that we had so little to just give for this. And so I So I don't know. It was so bare bones. And I think back then you could kind of get away with that too, a little bit more. Like readers were a lot more forgiving back then about some of the things that would never fly today. But I remember I reached out to, I think I got bold enough to reach out to like seven, I think, bloggers. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. I cannot continue to ask people to like read my book. And so that was all I did. And then
Yeah.
it just snowballed from there. And so it was just crazy how it happened and how it's been able to be sustainable. And you're right. Like it's such a different world
Yeah.
today than it used to be for sure.
Well, and change. I started reading romance in 2016, and it was like the age of like YouTube and some Instagram. But it,
Yeah.
the influencer machine of boxes and arts and book signings, and then we get the TikTok, and everyone's reading aesthetics, and you're
Right.
and it's like you get to a point where like I missed it all the time. So it was like 99 cents or $1,
Right.
no limited. Just like I don't had a job that I think I was under earning. I was earning like little to no money in New York City, and I had nothing but time and a lot of just read
Right.
books. And it was like the greatest time. You know,
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
I look longingly at that time. At the same time, I'm kind of grateful that I am where now. But
Like there's pros and cons. Like I think we can all look back on any part of our path and remember only like the really easy parts about it when life that currently is stressful and hard or difficult or, like seasons change and they come and go. And so it's always easy to put on rose colored glasses and just kind of look back and be like, oh, back then that
yeah.
was so nice.
Yeah.
When I could put my kids to bed at 7, that was so beautiful.
So let's talk about your backlist. Like, where the readers can get started. Like, from like, how do you get started? Like, it's you have a backlist. You have
Yeah.
it's your work words, and it's like, okay, I read this the current series, the current series,
Okay.
and now I need to know where can I go back.
I have 2 main genres that I tend to write in. It's either sports romance or more small town.
Okay,
Um, my sports romance are a little bit faster paced. They're a little sexier. They have a little bit more adventure, road trips, and just the hockey aspect and the sports aspect, and kind of all of that. It's more, living in cities, traveling, that kind of thing. A little bit more like fun drama, I think, in most of them. My small town books tend to be more emotional. They're longer. They're a little bit more gut wrenching. There's still some that have just sweet drama to them. Some of them, they're a little less explicitly steamy. Like I still, like there's still the romance and there's still the steam and there's still the intimacy and there's still the sex and there's still, the hot stuff. It's just described, I think, a little differently when there's a heavier emotion involved in it, for me anyway. So I think for people, they just kind of have to determine like which path they want to go down
yeah,
and then just jump into one of them. Because a lot of them, especially my sport, even in this small town one, they all slightly interconnect with other series. And like you can start anywhere, but there's mentions of like in this current series, one of the brothers in this series, Caleb in the first book, he's very loosely connected to my football series that I just wrote and some
yeah,
characters that were in that series. So there's a mention, but they're not like full spinoff where you have to read series to truly understand different series. I just like to bring in some connection to my books.
yeah. I was curious. And I think I read the second book in your series, and I was like, and then the current series, and I was like, oh, there's must be a different world. Like, what, I. Because we're women's reader, we assume like any male or female character
Right.
love story of some sort.
Right.
Neighbor so and so this,
Right.
making
Exactly.
that its own book, or brother, sister, brother's best friend. Like it's just wow.
Right.
And I was
Right.
like,
And
oh, well, there's more to you. It's
yeah,
love
because
it.
the Kelly family has 5 brothers and a sister.
Yeah,
And so the series is over each of the 5 brothers.
yeah,
But there's a tiny little novella at the very beginning called Undeniable Love that is their sister. And so their sister is best friends with Haley, and they live out in Tennessee. And
yeah,
Haley is the heroine in the third book in the Nashville Steel football series. And Meredith marries a hockey player out there. There's no hockey series that takes place in Tennessee. She just happens to be the best friend of a character. And so I'm not even sure like how that connection came to my head when I was sitting down to plot my next series, but I just thought, oh, she was such a fun character and her story is kind of cute and quirky. And I thought, oh, we'll just, suddenly give her 5 extra brothers in a whole different part of the country to see what that.
I love that
So, but
movie.
like, but she's just in that one book as a side character. So there's like a loose connection, but it's just, not a big one by any means.
I love this. All right, so let's start on your phone series. What is the other culture specifically? And like what the tropes are for the push me up. So I can be
Okay. Okay. Elevator pitch is the Kelly family is 5 hot guys. They're 5 hot brothers. The Kelly Ranch is one of the top producing cattle ranches in the country. They're well known in the state. They're well known around the country. They're incredibly wealthy, and it takes place in kind of the eastern plains in Colorado, close to the Kansas border, east of Denver, a couple hours. They are hardworking. They are honest. They are a small town, like 2,000 people in the town of New Haven, Colorado, which is completely a made up place. But they're hot. They're hot guys. There's 5 brothers: Dalton, Caleb, Cameron, Gavin, and Bray. Caleb is in the first book. His book is Unending Love. He also happens to be a professional hockey player in Colorado. He has a twin brother, Cameron. Cameron just happens to be the quarterback of the professional football team in Colorado. So they're twin brothers. They're both these famous athletes and come from a famous Colorado ranching family. So I feel like in this series, you kind of get everything that I love to have in a book. There's hockey, there's football, there's small town, there's high drama, there's high steam, especially Cameron's book. So there's a lot going on that has made it so much fun to just dive into. Unending Love is Cameron's book. Like I said, it's the first book. He had a one night stand way back when he was in the minor league hockey, and he had a one night stand with a girl who shows up at his brother's football practice thinking it's him to let Cameron know that he's the father of her child. And Cameron kind of loses his lid and freaks out. And, then Caleb finds out that it's his kid. And so there's some like fun initial drama with the twin confusion at the very beginning too. And it's found family for sure. She does not come from a great family from Iowa. She's a teacher, and Caleb just steps up to the plate, wants to be a dad. She wants him to be a dad. She wants her kid to have a family that she never had. And Caleb comes with this massive family that is just down to their core, opening and good people who just say, all right, let's just love each other. And it's fun. Unstoppable Love is Cameron's story. He's grumpy, he's bossy, he can kind of be a jerk. He's also been fighting an attraction to his best friend's younger sister ever since high school. So, 8 years now or so. And there's not a whole lot I can say about it except it's best. There's not a lot more. And he's grumpy, and we very much like his bossiness in the book.
Yeah,
That's entertaining for everybody.
yes. I know we haven't broken a lot better, but this week I was the third book in the series, and it's both all about.
I'm so excited for this one. Gavin is, he's the 5th youngest Kelly sibling. He's 23, and he's a single dad to a 7-year-old girl. He got a girl pregnant when he was 15 years old. That girl took off before he got his driver's license. And so he's been raising this kid on his own and just has wanted nothing to do with anything but his daughter and trying to figure out a way to provide a family. He started his own construction company, just kind of wanted to be his own man, not depending on his, family's wealth or their help for everything. He's stubborn. He's young. So he's got a lot to prove. And he's incredibly protective of Josie, which is his daughter. Her name's Josephine. She's a riot and a half. She, I think, might steal the book. Like, she is just the best. And midway through her school year, a new teacher comes to town. And Penelope, her name Penelope, they call her Penny, she's a girl who had maybe one of the worst moms in history that I've ever written, and basically was raised being a mom to her younger sister when they were very little. So
Yeah.
she's always taken care of herself. So she's highly independent as well. She's also incredibly nurturing because she's always been in that nurturing role. And she ends up being Josie's second grade teacher, moving in 2 doors down across the street from Gavin. And Josie decides from the first time she sees her that she is going to be her new mother. And Josie works. She is little, but she is smart. And so she figures out a way to get them together as much as possible.
My gosh, you
So
have, yeah,
it's fun.
I love me matchmaking, like this
Right.
matchmaking of what, I need alone. And so she's gonna, she's actually running this and perfect. So it's like,
Yeah.
like this and for you, finding your found family. So,
Right. Right. I think there's a lot of found family in this one. And that wasn't really my intention. It's just that the Kellys just ended up being such good people. Like they're just the people that you want your kids to know and you want everybody to know. And they're the neighborhood family that everybody goes to just because they're so good. And so it just kind of made it easy to bring in these characters that just needed that family.
yeah. Oh, so good. So let's try some book recommendations. You read a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's very good point. So a lot of times when we go to book recommendations, they like, these books are well, like read, or I want to recommend to others. After they go through about this and they both,
Right.
you know,
Right. I always ask, like, what do they like? Because I have such huge interest. Like, I grew up reading John Grisham,
yeah,
courtroom things as
right.
a teenager. And like, I'm sure I just aged myself there a little bit, but, I've always just read anything I can get my hands on. And so I think when people come to me for Rex, I'm like, well, what do you like? Do you like the romantic stuff? Do you like paranormal, like urban fantasy, vampires? Do you like contemporary? How steamy do you like it? Because I'll read anything from, not only a single kiss to everything else that's out there. But my top few
Yeah.
are would definitely be Kristen Ashley as my go-to, just anything. Pick something, pick a series, start there, and then just spend the rest of your life reading her books and then rereading them all over again. Like
Yeah.
I always reread her books.
And you
If
like,
I don't,
she does have motorcycles, she does have like romance, but she also have fantasy too. Uh,
right,
so here's a little bit of everything for your daughter, tips.
right, exactly. And then if one of my favorite books is Christina Lauren's Beautiful Stranger. And again, I know that's an older book of theirs, it's an older series. But the beginning of that book in that nightclub, you just can't, like, I was just hooked. Like, I think about that scene,
Yeah.
that whole just setup of that. It's just done so perfect. Like, they're such talented women that it's just such a perfect book. And I love the daringness in all of it. And it's just sexy and fun. And I enjoyed that one. And then if they like paranormal, I always go to Chicagoland Vampires, which I know is not like the most popular or well-known series out there, but I think it fits my vampires, my werewolves, my shifters, my magic. And then it also fits my murder mystery and crime. And like it combines and the romance, like a beautiful slow burn romance in it. It, I think that series takes every single thing I love about every book I've ever read and then just puts it all together in one long series that takes a month to read.
Yeah, I actually listened to most of the series, and I still have like a few left over because I don't want it to end. And the series is like, sorry to end. So like, I don't want it to end. It's just like so, and it's like it's a perfect like you can drop whole. And you should read them in order. You should not like
Yeah,
put them in it's
definitely.
not reading order kind of deal. But it's politically savvy. I lived in Chicago like 1 year ago, right? So
Yep.
and so it was fun to see the setting of like
Yep.
where and like what it would do. And it was like, it's a fun thing. But then there's also this like, this sexy old vampire. So powerful. Where I saw it was like True Blood or like Alexander Satstar. Like that's like
Yeah.
an art to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember his last name. What was it? but I'm
I know who you're talking about for sure.
yeah, I'm wishing that. And so it's like, it's just fun. And then the heroine who just turned in to be a vampire.
Right.
I'm happy about this.
Right. I love her attitude. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the fact that I love the fact that of who her family is. She's like
Yeah.
every girl's best friend. Like she is a
Yeah.
girl's girl. And but she's so intelligent and she does not back down for what she thinks is right. And she breaks the rules. And Merritt is just like, I think Merritt is who I would like to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
She's
Or
awesome.
yeah, like the powerful leg and like all the like supernatural
Right.
thing. Oh, so
Right.
I probably just need to download and just need another one.
Do it.
So awesome. So
And then after that series ends, then there's the Heirs of Chicagoland, which features, which I'm not even going to say, but the heirs kind of give it away, but kids are now involved with vampires, which is crazy. But like that series is just as good. And I think the last book in that series is coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And then it's all done. And I'm so sad about that.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Because I've been reading that for
it's been
6
like
years now.
It's been
I
like,
know. I mean, I think I started reading it when book 5, I had the first 4 books.
oh my gosh.
And so I had to wait to see, because book 4 ends on a huge huge cliffhanger, which I'm not gonna So I had to wait 6 months for book 5 when I discovered the series, and I've been with it since. So I think that was I don't know, probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And she only releases 2 a year, but every time she has a book of that series come out, I reread the entire thing every time.
It's so
I can't help myself. I love it.
It's such a good series, and they're looking for my series in this fall season. This is a good series to go and try out. Yep. You might be able to get the books on your library, because it's not as popular.
Yeah, they are.
You might be able to borrow them quickly at the shot down. Yeah. Stacey, how can we find you online?
You can find me on my website, StaceyLynnBooks.com, Facebook, Stacey Lynn Books, I believe is my author page, or Stacey Lynn. Just add me as a friend on my profile. Instagram, StaceyLynn.author. TikTok, Stacey Lynn Books. I'm not very, I'm not on it a lot. I'm going to be completely honest.
Sorry.
When you talked earlier about going back to the days when you didn't have all that stuff, I've always been one to drag my feet doing the next new thing. And so I'm on it all, but I have a great team who helps me manage all of it. And as much as I've tried to love TikTok, I enjoy watching stuff, but I'm not the person to throw myself out of TikTok.
I will understandably, I like creating long form content, and then I do short form content. It's just not really, actually I don't go on TikTok a lot because it's such a rabbit hole. It just sucks my time, and then it just it's a whiplash. I'm what did that just do? And so
and it's bad for my pocketbook because every time I'm on it, I end up with 12 more books in my life. I can't. I'm oh, this one. Oh, I'm just as much of a reader as I am a writer, and so I'm on TikTok all the time, devouring books to read, and then I'm oh, I have to work.
I had to make money, so I could
exactly.
The cycle continues.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacey, for being on the show.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of the What to Read Next podcast. If you enjoy our bookish conversations and want more recommendations, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, head on over to the What to Read Next blog for a list of books mentioned in today's show. Happy reading!